Good morning, good morning. You are now tuned in to the Elife Power Lunch with Dr. Baruch and Kris Murray. I am one of your hosts, Kris Murray, and to my right, the one and only Dr. Baruch.
Good morning, Kris. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I promise I practiced not saying my name 100 times all weekend, and I still get it wrong when I come on.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I'm excited as usual to be here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I sound echoey still.
You do sound a little echoey.
But that's okay.
We're gonna take the echo out.
Oh, cool.
We don't need the reverb, right?
Yeah. Is that
okay.
Hello? Testing?
It's still in there.
Good morning. There we are.
Okay.
All right, guys. Now you can hear me clearly. Well, I'm excited. There was so much that happened over the weekend. I just want to jump into the hot topics unless there was something that you wanted to talk about.
I'm still checking on whether you saw the movies.
I knew you were going to ask me that.
I should have asked you off air, right?
Yes, because then I could have said I didn't yet. But I will. I have to.
Yeah,
but speaking of movies, that's actually our hot topics because we know that the 74th annual Golden Globe Awards was this past Monday, and there were some big wins for our community. So I thought it'd be cool to just kind of share some of that with everyone. First up, I had to include this picture. She didn't actually win. She was nominated. This is Issa Rae, and she was nominated for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy TV Series for her HBO series Insecure. And I just included it because I think she's so beautiful. I think, I don't know if you've seen her show on HBO. It's new for this year, and they've already been renewed for a few seasons, which is exciting. It just deals with basically being a single black woman and everything that comes along with that. But she's so talented, and she just does such an amazing job with it that I'm glad that she was recognized, especially since this is her first season.
Great.
Who else do we have? Viola Davis, and you guys probably can guess what she was nominated for, or she actually won for Best Supporting Actress in a Drama for a starring role in Fences with Denzel Washington, and of course she did a phenomenal job in that. I have to say I heard because I haven't seen it. Next, Donald Glover. This show I've seen as well is actually hilarious. A show called Atlanta that's an original series on FX. Donald Glover and the crew won for Best Actor in a TV series. And the show won for Best Comedy in a TV series. So that was very exciting as well. And oops, that's not the next one. Oh, am I missing? Oh, it doesn't show me the videos. So how do I get to the videos? I have a video actually of Tracy Ellis Ross. Let me get off of this. Tracy Ellis Ross, because she had an historic win for Best Actress in a TV comedy or musical for her ABC show Blackish, and she gave a beautiful speech. I don't know, am I able to? Let's see if I can get that up here for you guys.
Yeah, she's been doing some good stuff for a while now. She's been acting for quite some time, and she is a very good actress. Indeed.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not connected with sound here, so I'm going to have to just tell you guys what she's saying.
Okay.
Is that right?
You want to connect sound? You want to
Sure.
give it a try?
Yeah, let's try it.
Boom. Sound disconnected. Sound reconnected.
Is it playing out?
Oh, hold on. The volume is up.
Is my volume up? It did this to us last time. It may have something to do with this, you think?
It might. Your sound might be going out of there.
Okay. Well, that's not a problem.
Is it a link you want to send to me?
Sure, I can send it to you. We can play it again. But I wanted you guys to see this because it's just interesting. Our president, or almost president, Donald Trump, had something to say about Blackish. He says, how is ABC television allowed to have a show entitled Blackish? Can you imagine the furor if a show was called Whitish? And I just thought that would be a great topic for discussion. It's just interesting, number one, that he is our president-elect for the next, he has a few more days before he's the official president. But just to see something like this is just interesting. There was also another comment in reference to Meryl Streep. I don't know if you were able to watch it, but Meryl Streep gave a beautiful acceptance speech as well for her win. And he has something to say about that as well. But it's just interesting how, this is entertainment, which is definitely something that's very important because it captivates most of the world. And just to see some of the comments that he makes is just, I don't know any other word than interesting.
Well, it is Donald, so we shouldn't have expectations beyond the bounds of, what he's already demonstrated to us. And I think his persona is not, he's already shown he's not going to change. He's not going to become this, politically correct individual. So he's going to be doing his thing. And the news is going to have a ball because you can imagine now media is going to be cutting up and chopping up everything that he says and sending it all over the globe and getting all kinds of revenue because all the people are going to want to run commercials against what Donald had to say today.
Right, exactly. And I like to talk about this as well because I think it's extremely important. Once again, because like I said, it's captivating not only the entire world, but specifically our community. So if we can find a way, like we talked about last week, just to tap into that, I think we would definitely be on our way to making some bigger moves forward.
I think we should have him come on the air. Why don't we invite him over? Maybe we can get him before he gets into office or after office. After he's in office, it might be a little tough either way. But get him to come on over and have a chat with us. Let us know where his head is, and we'll let him know what we think about where his head is.
Right.
But, no, I think what he said about Blackish is, it's consistent with what people are saying. They don't want, I don't know whether you caught what I posted on Facebook, and maybe I talked about it last week, but the State Farm commercial with the black guy proposing to the white woman is got a whole lot of negative press to the tune of people saying, I am now canceling my State Farm account.
Really?
And I will be sending you all kinds of interracial porn, as a in response to what you all are doing in promoting black men marrying white women, which, I don't have much. I don't comment much on that, except that to each his own. You do what you feel.
Right.
But they were very. I mean, it was like they were saying things like, why would you want to promote the genocide of our race? I was like, wow, I guess that's maybe how some black folk feel too. But I think more so, I don't think they're looking at it as genocide as much so as they're looking at it as, wow, you couldn't find any of us that were acceptable. You had to go over there and do that. I don't think anybody's saying you're gonna kill us off if you keep doing this.
Right.
But that is it was interesting to see that, and then to have the president-elect, what is he? You said 9 days away?
Something like that.
Yeah, nine days away from being the official Don. The Don. He had something negative to say about a TV show, and of course, if you thought about really from a business perspective what he did, he just probably shot their ratings through the roof, if nothing else for last night,
Right.
But he is if he's thinking that way, that would be interesting. But if he's not, if he's just concerned that somebody is referencing themselves and who all is on the show, in the show title, it's kind of interesting. Kind of an interesting thing. Why is he, people talked about Obama and how he was preoccupied with some things. And, what is he doing worrying about that? And I think I would say definitely with regard to this, come on, man. You got a whole lot more to worry about than, a show name, right?
Right.
So we're going to see whether we can pull this up here. And I'm going to need that audio back. Oh, we got it. All right, hold on. Give us a minute while we do this technical thing. We're the engineers and the producers and the people on the front side of the camera. So we're going to... Now, I need the image, so I need that too. Okay. So set this up again.
Sure. This is Tracy Ellis Ross, and she just won for Best Actress in a TV Comedy or Musical for her ABC show, Blackish. And this is especially important because she became, with this win, the first African-American woman to win in this category in 35 years. So just to give you an idea of how long ago that was, the last black woman to take the title was Debbie Allen in 1982 for her role in Fame.
We're going to pick it up right here. Bam.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Thank you. It's my first time here, guys. It's a nice room. I like it. This is for all of the women of color, and colorful people whose stories, ideas, thoughts are not always considered worthy and valid and important, but I want you to know that I see you, we see you. It is an honor to be on this show, Blackish, to continue expanding the way we are seen and known, and to show the magic and the beauty and the sameness of a story and stories that are outside of where the industry usually looks. Kenya, thank you for this amazing opportunity. ABC, Anthony, you are the most wonderful TV husband ever. I don't have children, but Marcus, Yara, Miles, and Marseille, oh my goodness. I have to say thank you to my mom and dad and my siblings, Rhonda, Chudney, Ross, and Evan. I don't know who else there is other than all the amazing people that have brought me here in my career, because it's nice at 44. I like it here. This is great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
There we go.
Yeah, so I just, a beautiful acceptance speech, and that's what threw me off, too. I don't know if there was something in between here. I heard the speech, and then I saw this tweet, and it just seemed like, oh, you know what, this is an older tweet. That's what it was. But still relevant, just, just her recognizing, other people and the people of color, and it's just, it's a big win. And I think, once again, the entertainment is important, because if we can figure out a way to tap into that, into sports and entertainment, then our platform will be a lot bigger for all of the community initiatives that we're striving to accomplish in the very near future.
Right. Right. I sometimes am concerned about our desire to be pleasing and to get the acceptance of the other side. And I wish BET and was still controlled by, because it's not even black entertainment television, right? It's just entertaining to black people.
Right.
Television. But it would be nice if we had something that we strived for within our own space that was controlled by us, where we could reward ourselves. And maybe it's there. You're more into the entertainment industry than I am. Is there an award that is authentically black?
I have to do the research as far as authentic, because nowadays it seems like it on the surface, because that's the way they set it up. But when you do your research, then you realize that it's not. And so I can look into that just to let you know. But I agree, and I think there is a possibility to do it in the event that it's not, because we have the resources. It's just a matter of really having a strategy and getting other people to support it. I think that's the main thing, to get people to bite, because sometimes positivity doesn't go as far as you'd like it to, and so we have to figure out ways to mix it with other things that people are already interested in, so they can kind of be exposed to it, and we're able to pique that interest, so that then they dig deeper and find out more about things that are that are good.
Right. Right. And I think what you said is key, the support.
Yeah.
We tend not to support, and I think that ties into a mentality of fear and the ego and the crabs in the barrel.
Right.
Because we're concerned that somebody else is going to look better than us, who is supposed to be down here with us, as opposed to allowing somebody to ascend to a height and recognize that their ascension only represents them lighting a pathway to you ascending as well, because you can just follow in their path. You can hold their hand and get pulled up.
Right.
But there are some things that we need to work on, as far as our foundational understanding of what community is about and what we should be doing to elevate ourselves, that we have to review, which is, again, what we do here at the Elife Power Lunch.
Yes.
Where we're elevating your understanding of all aspects of life.
Right.
So, yeah. But indeed, as a business owner, I recognize if you don't support us and you keep telling us that the ice is colder across the street, the ice is never going to get colder as long as you continue to support the guy across the street.
Right. Right.
And of course, that's a metaphor where they talk about ice is colder somewhere else. But, there are a whole lot of things that we recognize will be better when we get more support. And I see it now as I have a much larger staff here in the restaurant. And as a result of that, I'm able to provide a better quality of service to my customer base. Okay. And there was a time when I couldn't. And people who came in didn't quite understand that, because they were like, well, why is it that you can't do what everybody else is doing? Because I don't have what everybody else has.
Right.
It's going to take me a minute, I didn't get that big fat loan or grant from the government, or loan from one of these major banking institutions. We had to do this on a credit card, and hey, can I get a little something to the end of the week?
Right.
In order to build this.
Right. And support is tricky in that there are so many things that compete, just like you were saying, the ice being colder across the street. And I think if we could just recognize that if we pull together, instead of having 10 different Wednesday night events to choose from, and there, just a handful of people at each one of them, we can rotate, which is a benefit for so many reasons, including, it takes a lot of planning and preparation to pull off an event, with the quality that most people want to have it. And so if you rotate, then, you can do yours once a month, but the effort is not lost, because then you have someone the second week and the third week and the fourth week. And so if we could work together in that fashion, that would be good. I mean, I've been listening to more of Dr. Boyce Watkins, and that's pretty much all he preaches. We learn how to support our own community and keep the money in our community, not having anything to do with anybody else other than building something for ourselves. We can't continue to look outside for support and, help, because it's not there. The system is set up so that we fail. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That's facts. Once you start getting into it, you do your research, you see it's facts. So if we can just figure that out, and I don't know, the Wednesday night for me, again, is just, such a huge thing, because we do have that opportunity to do it. And, I just encourage you guys to come out if you're available. That's every Wednesday, starting at 7 p.m. We have the Health, Wealth, and Knowledge of Self series. So come on out, and each week we talk about a different topic that's in relation to health, wealth, and knowledge of self. And it's been really good. Last week I had an opportunity to go out and meet some other people, but in doing that, it wasn't that I just wasn't here. It's like, look, we having an event on Wednesday, you guys need to come out. And so, I have a few people that are interested in coming on this show, so I can't wait to share that with you guys. So again, it's just, about networking, connecting, supporting, and all of that.
Mm-hmm. And I think also the fact of the matter is, we've been spending a lot of time looking at television and playing video games and doing things that don't move us forward. And it's time for us to start moving forward. And if we could just take one day out of the week, maybe once or twice a month. It doesn't have to be every Wednesday for you. It'll be every Wednesday for us.
Right.
But to take 1 or 2 Wednesdays, maybe all of them out of the month, to come in and sit down and just talk and learn and grow. It's it can make a big difference in the rest of your life. And we saw this past week how people were networking, because I set it up a little differently. I said, look, everybody needs to introduce themselves so we know who all is in the room, and we can then know who needs to connect with who. And, I think you were here one week when we did that before, and it was so many significant connections that could have come out of that, and I was trying to help them see those connections. So don't lose sight of the fact that your strength and all that you need, your support system, and everybody that you're looking for can possibly show up in this room, and we don't need to look that far. And it then puts us more in a space where we're supporting our own community, and we're depending on our own community, and all of our people in our community want to do better, you would think, right? So
That's right.
at least we know that we would have more of a desire for us to do better than probably anybody else would have for us. So,
right.
Yeah.
And I'm sending you a picture right now just to lead us into a new project that we're working on, the Everlasting Life Community Concierge. And that, to me, is going to be an even greater addition to what we're already doing, because we're going to be strategically connecting one another through business, pretty much through everything, any service that's needed. We're going to make a directory of services and products and everything that you can imagine. And it's giving me a message there. And it's just going to be very exciting because of that, because we're going to be able to build something from the ground up and see it grow. So I know I'm going to be, I'm going to be hustling as far as that, just going out and promoting it, because it's something that we really need. It's a positive space. It's not about, coming down on people because you eat this or you watch this or you don't do this or that. It's a place that we're creating to give you an alternative. Because without that, we're just coming down, don't do this, don't do that. But what solutions are we providing? Well, this is the solution. Tune into us on Tuesday and Wednesday at 11. If you can't do that, watch the replay. If you can come out on Wednesday night, do that. The concierge is going to be a few times a week, and we'll have a schedule that we'll post once it's ready. But just to put that bug in you guys' ear so you can start to spread the word, we're going to be able to help out with pretty much anything. So that's going to be a great addition to the community.
Yeah, I think the flyer is here. Let me see whether I can pull it up, move it over. Or maybe I can just leave it here. This is it's the flyer for what it is that Kris was just speaking about.
It disappeared.
It disappeared on us. Okay. But, yeah, and I think it's good, just knowing all of the players that come into just this restaurant, the significant people that come into this restaurant.
Right.
Man, yeah, they want to be connected with other people. Who doesn't want to be connected with somebody that's going to help them be successful?
Right.
So I'm doing this the wrong way, but there it is. Now you have the image, and that's the flyer for the, what do you call it?
The Everlasting Life. We call it Elife.
Elife?
For sure, but Elife Community Concierge.
There we go.
Is it there?
And it is here, but it's not there. Okay, let's go back here. But I'll get it up in a minute so we can take a look at what we're all talking about. But I think it's it's evident that we have that capacity, and it's good to have somebody who can tie it all together.
Right.
And so you will be doing some of that work as we look to make those significant connections, and I'm sure that's going to help bring more people to our show and possibly even to the network here.
Right, definitely, and to the events that we do. We have the Solstice Bazaar that we do, and like I said, if we can just direct our spending to our own community, we would have so much more power and freedom to do what we need to do, Because a lot of times we have these dreams and visions, but our number one complaint is that we don't have the funding. Yeah. And so we actually do if we stop sending the funding outside of our community. So that's one of the things that I think we should really focus on, just trying, make a conscientious effort to spend. And even if we, maybe we can host, days each month where we do, Black Grocery Day, African American Grocery Day, or whatever, days that we specifically come together as a community, and we everybody's going, we come down here, on a specific day, whatever it might be. If you're going clothes shopping, then you would, support our list of retailers that are in our community. If we can do something like that, I think it would be effective, because it goes along with what you were mentioning about New Year's resolutions. It's difficult to imagine, being committed to something for a year, but if we say we're going to do this for this month, then it's certainly much more attainable, at least, when you're thinking about it. So maybe we can come up with a schedule or something like that where we get a list of vendors and we really try to boost that within the community, because, again, we try these boycotts and things, and, I never see that they result in anything. So if people can each month look forward to having another opportunity, well, you know what, I didn't know, or I missed it this month, but I know it's coming up next month, then you have something to look forward to. I think things like that are going to be key, and just, taking things to the next level.
Right. As opposed to a boycott, a boycott. Let's just buy.
I love it.
Support.
That's right. That's right. Again, that's the word support comes back into play. It's just, action, guys. We got to take action. And so we can make something fun of that. So that's going to be cool.
Otherwise, our continued complaining will continue to net the same outcome, which is we're not getting any better complaining about how bad things are.
Right.
This is not the best probably image of this, but we're gonna see how this shows on screen. And this is the flyer that Kris was just speaking about. That talks about.
That's close. That's
close.
Good. That's good.
It's a little fat, but
the key information is there, so that's good.
The Elife Community Concierge.
Yes.
Yeah. We might even need to look at the word concierge, and I bet you there's a word in some native language of color that probably communicates something very similar.
Right, because I see it differently every time. I just feel like I'm always saying it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we would be mad. We as a people would jack that way. Can I talk to the concierge?
Oh, that's okay. Another teaching opportunity.
Yes, definitely.
Concierge, that's French?
I would think.
But we have a lot of African.
We do. Who were colonized by
French.
the French. Yeah,
so
we do. We do have them.
Something to think about.
Something to think about.
Well, we also want to hear from you guys. As part of this effort, we're going to need you, because we know you have connections, you have referrals, because one thing that's very important to me is making sure that the companies and organizations that we're going to be referring you to are legit. They're of a certain quality, and so we'll have to have some type of way to let people apply to be a part of the list. We're not just going to throw any and everyone up there. So we need your help. So if you know someone who owns a business or provides a service, it can pretty much be any field: doctors, attorneys, real estate agents, retailers. What else do we need? Maybe
just people that show up when they're scheduled to come in for their interview would be really great. If you could find that group, that would really be good. And I'm not trying to, say anything bad about anybody. Just saying. I mean,
noted.
If you're gonna be here, be here. If you say you're gonna be here, be here.
That's right. That's right. But
well, it's definitely an interesting time as we're going through a pretty cold winter. Maybe this is traditionally this cold. It seems like it's a little colder than normal, and it's a trying time for us as we reflect on what's going on in the world. It's kind of getting cold to us as a people. It's getting cold. It's not the same. The warmth level is changing in the sense that, when we're getting afraid. There are many of us that are afraid, as opposed to feeling empowered. We're feeling afraid. And that fear is causing us to not come together, but more so isolate and separate. And feel like, well, it's every man for himself. I better strengthen my hands so that I can win.
Right.
And I think that's the wrong position to take. I think, for one thing, when it gets cold, when you're around some other people, it all of a sudden starts getting warmer.
Right. Huddle up, right?
Yep. Let's huddle up. Let's come together. Let's share ideas. Let's share support. If you think about the number of us that are on the brink of losing our houses compared to the number of us that have an empty basement, or an empty house that you could share with somebody and then share that mortgage. And if we could just get over some of our issues, some of which are as a result of us not doing right, not being right. So we need to clean up. And then it'll make it a lot easier for us to open up our doors. And then we'll start living like some of our lighter complected compadres who can put 10, 15, 20 people in a house and still pay that $1,200 rent or mortgage and get all that extra money coming back in so that they can do other things for themselves and their family and not spend a bunch of money on an empty box.
Right.
That they're not in all day long because they're out working.
Right.
So hopefully we don't find ourselves, falling deeper and deeper and deeper into this hole. But this, again, is the Elife Power Lunch, and we are about to bring on a guest who's going to be sharing with us more information that's going to empower us, right?
Right.
That's what it's all about. And I am one of your hosts, Dr. Baruch, and as we work through many of these technical not challenges, but technical realities. We got some technical realities that we work on, and we've got a technical reality that we've just created because somebody's going to have to figure out how to get by this camera after they set it up. But it's all good. It's all good. Because then you're not going to be in any shot. No, you're not in that shot. Oh, okay. I need to help that. Okay, this is the Elife Power Lunch, and we are transitioning to incorporate and include a new person on our show who's not new to the studio, not new to the restaurant, but is new to the show. And we're going to let Kris tell us a little bit about this individual. Who is in the studio with us, Kris?
Yes, let me introduce the great and wonderful Mr. Derrick J. Smith. He does a lot of work in the community, especially in the real estate space. You used to be the president, and I can hear it. What is it, the real estate?
National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
Right, but now he's a superstar, and he does a lot of other things that I'll let him tell you about. So welcome.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate you guys having me. And Dr. Baruch, it's good seeing you again.
Likewise.
And one of my favorite restaurants to patronize. Food is always great.
Thank you.
The love, hospitality is always great, man. I appreciate the work that you guys are doing, making a tremendous impact in our community and helping people, become healthier. And that's what it's all about. In your personal life, in your mind, your body, your soul is really, really important. So thank you guys for allowing me to be here with you guys today.
Yes, I'm excited, and I think we kind of segued on the right note because we were pretty much getting into teamwork, and I know that's a big thing for you. And just tell us a little bit about yourself, and I guess we can talk more about teamwork and the importance of that and success. I know you're a success coach.
Well, I'm a native Washingtonian. I've been in Prince George's County all my life. I'm 41 years old. I got married pretty young at 25 years old. I grew up in an environment where my mom had me as a teenager. Moms had me at 18 years old. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had a whole lot of love. And I don't know if some of you guys know what that actually means and feels like, but my mom really taught me the importance of relationship stability and how, she used to always say to me, we've moved 12 times before we was 18 years old, and she told me, you got to get used to it, making adjustments because your environments may change, your relationship circles may change, your school environments may change, so you got to be prepared to make adjustments in life. And as I got older, I always took really what was most important for me is develop healthy relationships because I realized I can't get to the top by myself. And then not growing up with a father and having a male figure in my life, I really thought it was really important to really find some mentorship and some people that can guide me in the right direction. And I was fortunate enough to graduate from Maryland Eastern Shore University, came out of school, fell into real estate, and at 25 years old, and did some great things, and I got some awards as a rookie here in the Prince George's County, Maryland area, and opened up a RE/MAX brokerage at a pretty young age. And so, for me, I always had the attitude, it's one thing to be great, but it's another thing to do something which you're passionate about, but at the same token, get paid to be great. Because a lot of people are great at what they do. They're just not in the career that can compensate them for being great, and that's important.
Right, most definitely.
Yeah, that's and real estate here in the Prince George's and DC, DMV, the whole area has has gone through some changes. But I'm sure for many people who will position themselves right and who got the right information on the front end and knew how to move forward and didn't find themselves in, situations that resulted from really bad decisions that I think we made, probably profited and did really well, starting back in 2007, 2008, when it kind of started crumbling. Mm-hmm. And but for those of us who are sitting now in 2017 and wanting to know, what they need to do, what is the market, what's the trend, whether they own a home or whether they're renting and looking to buy or whether they're looking to invest or maybe even sell the home that they have, what advice do you give to our audience today as it relates to, real estate? Where's the market going?
Well, we're seeing some upward trends, not only just here locally, but all across the country. This is a prime time to really purchase. Currently I'm the vice president for a financial services company, a regional vice president for a financial services company that specializes in credit repair or credit restoration. So in light of that, there's a lot of people that were damaged through our housing crisis that end up ultimately going through foreclosures and short sales, et cetera. And a lot of people want to get back into that housing market. Interest rates are slowly creeping up steadily, but they're still at rock bottom prices. Property valuations are still pretty solid. So this is a great opportunity to get yourself at the table. And if credit is a challenge for you, we'll talk a little bit about that, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But no one should be content with having less than perfect credit, because life is all about having options. And unfortunately, if you have challenged credit, you're not necessarily going to be able to do some of the things that those that have great credit afford those opportunities to do. So we create that environment for people.
Mm-hmm. What is challenged credit today?
I'm a firm believer if you don't have a 720 or better credit score, you're not necessarily considered a very good classified prospect. And so, most people realize or think that, only need a 620, 640 to qualify for a mortgage. But as it relates to taking advantage of rock bottom interest rates and being able to, get grant monies to do some of the entrepreneurial things that you might desire to do, you got to have a 720 or better credit score. Most people don't realize, any derogatory information on your credit report, judgments, liens, collection, those things can come off. And those things don't have to cripple your ability to go out and be great and do great things and accomplish great things. So at some point, we got to take responsibility for that. And hopefully 2017 is that time where a lot of people make those decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, and going into buying a home nowadays, you heard years ago you can buy a home with no money down, and is that realistic? There was a time where I did one loan, it was no money down, no doc, just come on in, man, we got you.
Yeah, your job is
that was a mistake.
Absolutely. There are some programs out here. I know locally there's some grant funding programs that have some minimum credit score requirements that you can actually get some grant money for the county. There are some other programs. That changes from lenders to lender. Some lenders have some closing cost down payment program assistance. CDA has a bond program where there may be some money available. But at the end of the day, you're still going to need some financial resources. You're going to need money for appraisals, inspections. You're going to need some money to be able to earn this money deposit, putting down some money and things like that. So, at the least, you do want to go into home ownership, not having anything at all in your bank account, but there is some opportunities where you can get some closing cost assistance from sellers and things like that, where you can position yourself. But more importantly, if your credit is power, mm-hmm. then you got power.
That's right. We're all about power here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like to just change gears a little bit and just talk about the business side of it. I know your story, and I know that you've made some incredible leaps and bounds and made it to the top in a short amount of time. What advice do you give to other people who are either interested in just kind of taking that leap, you leaving that 9 to 5 and jumping into it? People with actual entrepreneurial skills. Let me say that, mm-hmm. because I do understand that there's a difference. Not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur. So it's not advisable for any and everybody to just jump out there. But for those people who have already identified the fact that they are natural entrepreneurs, what advice do you have for those people?
First you got to identify what is your sweet spot, I like to call it. Or mm-hmm. what are you passionate about? What's that very one thing that is the hardest for you to get distracted from? Mm-hmm. Whether that's designing clothes, whether that's doing artistry work, whether that's whatever the case may be, photography. You got to identify your passion, because oftentimes people pursue opportunities, mm-hmm. And if it's money motivated and the motivation is solely premised upon income, oftentimes that's just going to fade away.
Right. But see, that's always the thing. It's like when you want to jump in there, once again, it's a big leap of faith to leave that 9 to 5, that consistent money, but you still got to make a living, you know? So it's like, I want to do what I love, but right now what I love ain't making me no money, you know? Wife looking at me like this, husband looking at me like this, kids like, hey, you know, so how do you smoothly make that transition? Is it advisable to have a certain amount of savings? Is it some other strategy? What is it exactly?
Absolutely. I think it's a decision that really should be made and be wise about it. I remember back in 2007 when I first opened up my first brokerage, right before my son was born. It cost me $20,000 to really do the things that I needed to do to open up my business. But I had great support at home. At that time, my wife still worked. We just sold one of our properties, so we did have some disposable monies set aside that in the event things didn't take off right away, I still had some discretionary monies to kind of hang my hat on. But it forced me to really go hard. It forced me to really recognize that if I want to get to a place to become financially independent, I got to make it work. And I made some commitments to those people that I borrowed money from. That, hey, listen, give me 12 months. I'm going to go out here, give you some return on your investment, and I'm going to go out and make it happen. But you got to make sure you have some wise counsel around you. I'm a firm believer every successful person in life has a coach. So whatever space that you contemplate and evolving into, you got to go find some people in that space that's already doing some great things that can come alongside you, give us the support, the accountability, so you can really make wise decisions and just not make entrepreneurial decisions, because it's really, really important. It's not about an idea. It's about strategy. It's about processes. It's about automation. It's about having the right team and support people around you. And certain opportunities can provide that for you in one sitting. But it's really, really important that you do your due diligence. But at the same token, you can't be passive forever. You got to take a leap of faith and have some confidence and trust in yourself, because you never know your potential by sitting on the sideline.
Right. Yep. The sideline is not necessarily where we want to be, especially as an entrepreneur. You want to be out in the middle of the action. And I love that analogy with sports, and I know that's something that's kind of your thing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I've been a sports fan all my life, and not growing up with a father, I wasn't fortunate enough to go to basketball games and things of that such. So as I got older, I said, once I have kids, I'm gonna become season tickets to the Washington Wizards, because I'm a firm believer when you really look at the anatomy and the makeup of an athlete, they have to go through a lot of adversity and challenges, but they got to bounce back. I mean, you think about a boxer, they get knocked down, they got 10 seconds to make a decision on what happens next. They don't have 10 minutes, they don't have 10 days, they don't have 10 weeks, they don't have 10 months. They get knocked down. You got to get up and you got to go out and make it happen. And that's the same thing when we talk about life and business. You got to be able to respond to adversities like an athlete. I mean, you fumble the ball, you throw an interception, you get a turnover. Like, you still got to put that helmet on next possession, and you got to go out and make it happen. So I actually founded a company called Entrepreneur Athletes, because I'm a firm believer that as an entrepreneur, you got to have the same disciplines, the same attitudes as entrepreneurs take on and display to go out and do great things and be great, and ultimately, get paid like an athlete. But it doesn't necessarily happen by going to sit at somebody's desk at 9 to 5, unless you're in a job that you can do some great things sitting in that type of situation. Just not me.
Of course. And with sports comes a team. Now, you mentioned your wife, being an integral part of, your startup and, really having someone to depend on. Were there other key players, can I say that? Other key players in your startup and success?
I always had the attitude that I'm going to be the best of the best in whatever I do. And so for me, I'm real big on finding out who's already doing their thing in that space and going out reaching to them. And just some practical advice I encourage anybody: if you see somebody that you got a lot of respect for, that you admire, pick up the phone and ask them, you got 30 minutes or so to take me to lunch, or let me take you to lunch, or let's go get some coffee. Whether that's a direct message online, LinkedIn, social media, Instagram, or whatever the case may be, you got to reach out to people and put yourself out there. Because trust me when I tell you, a lot of successful people, they got a lot of information that they would love to share. Oftentimes, people who are intimidated by reaching out to those folks at the top, but they're feeling flattered in a lot of cases to say, hey, listen, I'm flattered that someone thinks enough of me or my business to say, hey, look, can I come alongside you? So definitely, you can't get to the top by yourself. In Proverbs it says an isolated man wages because he makes all his own decisions. A lot of people can offer additional perspective and observations that you just can't do by yourself. Every successful person in life has a coach, whether it's LeBron James, Steph Curry, Serena Williams, Beyonce, or whatever the case may be. So you cannot get to the top by yourself. So you got to reach out there, do your homework, and find some folks that can really, take you up under that wing and help make things happen.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because that has to be the second or third time I've heard that this year. I know we're a few days in, but literally, like, I've heard that at least 3 times, that you have to have a coach. I mean, and it just makes so much sense. So what is the strategy, like you said, for doing your due diligence? What does that actually look like? What are you looking for when you're looking for a coach besides someone that's in your field who has accomplishments? Or is that enough to base it on, or are we looking for additional things?
I mean, the only thing that matters in life is results. I mean, that's really important. Business is just like a relationship. If there's no respect and credibility and there's no trust or track record, it's going to be hard for the other individual to really say, hey, look, I'm all in and I'm with you.
Right.
And that's the same thing when you're thinking about finding that person that can kind of take you up under their wing and give you the support that you need. Is this person proven that they have done a great job of establishing credibility and a solid track record? Because oftentimes those things can be duplicated. Oftentimes we surround ourselves with people that make what we make, do the same things we do, associate in the same environments that we do. But at the same token, you got to get to the next level in your thinking.
Right.
You got to get to the next level in your practices. And oftentimes people that's not in your space can offer that. And I think that perspective is really, really important.
Right.
You think about somebody like LeBron James. Is not to say that his coach can get out there and perform at a higher level than him, but he can make observations when he come off the court and say, hey, listen, next time, next possession, you got to look at the other way. You got to go the other way. And he respects that because it's been proven. They won championships. So it's really important, in 2017, you really examine your circle. You really examine your scope of influence. Is everybody around you makes what you make and have the same circle of influence that you do? You might want to make some adjustments and just put yourself out there and reach out and reach up. Because I'm a firm believer, when you up, you got to reach down and pick somebody else up. And when you down, you got to reach up and humble yourself and say, I need some help. Can you help me?
Right.
That's really important. It go both ways.
Right.
Yeah, and that's like that in the business that I'm in as well. Connecting up with people that are successful, helps you, avoid some of the pitfalls, some of the challenges that, you don't have to learn from experience all the time. Sometimes you can learn from someone else's experience. And if we could link arms and strengthen one another as a community, if we saw our customer base as the same customer base, and if we saw, if our customer base saw us as one, body of businesses that they would engage, and it takes me back to the concept that we were talking about earlier about a boycott. We just decide to buy from our businesses, not necessarily a boycott. It's not that we don't want to support everybody else's business. We just want to support our business. So it isn't necessarily a negative against everybody else. It's just a positive for us. And, beginning to support these institutions is going to strengthen our hand and strengthen the success stories so that there are more of them. And I can't help but reflect on the statistic, I think it was, that if all black people supported black businesses, then there would be, just by the fact that most black businesses are more inclined to hire black people, that there would be no unemployment. And you start considering what that does to a community when there's zero unemployment. All of a sudden now, now there's the crime rate goes down. Now, the property values go up or at least maintain. And, the list goes on of things that happen as a result of that. And also entrepreneurs are able to launch their ideas because they know they have they've got a customer base that's ready-made, and they've got a network of businesses that are going to hold them up long enough to get their wheels, so that they can get running quick enough to maintain business. And I think it's important. So I think even whether it's within the real estate business or, even beyond that, building that infrastructure of customers and good businesses and businesses that are open to having somebody tell them, hey, man, maybe it's time that, you all change whatever. Maybe you need to change the carpet in the dining room. You know, maybe it's time that you all, you know, change your jingle or change your prices or whatever. You know, I've had people come to me and say, you know, you've had the same price on this item for like 10 years. Don't you think it's time that you change your price? And I said, yeah, well, if I changed it, it would go up. He said, yeah, exactly, because we know that cost has gone up. Right. So we want you to be successful. You need to make sure you adjust your prices as everyone else has done. You adjust your price. So we need to have those mentors, and we need to have that advisory board committee that's out there saying, hey, you know, let's do this, let's do that. And then when we do those things, you know, champion the success by saying, hey, y'all, let's all, you know, let's do the flash mob thing over at that spot. You know, let's everybody, you know, we're going to buy houses this month. We're going to focus in on, you know, the new startup real estate business that's around the way and help them get their footing so that they can get rolling. And, you know, then we go back to business as usual, supporting all of us, you know. So it's, there's some work that we have to do collectively in developing in the mind of our customer, you know, a commitment to us as well as a responsibility from the business owners to our customers to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can, which will keep them, you know, wanting to be customers as opposed to saying, I got to go back in here again just because I'm black, you know. But so we definitely see the need for work on both sides. And it's good that you're developing a team and you're developing players that understand the importance of improving the quality of service, you know, and becoming experts. And being able to treat your customer as you would want to be treated is, you know, is really important. You know, we don't want to have to second guess. I reflect back on when I was a child, and when I saw somebody that looked like me, I found comfort. When I saw somebody that didn't look like me, I was a little afraid. You know, nowadays it's not that way. You know, it needs to get back to that way, so that we find comfort. So when I see you and I'm looking for somebody to help me in the real estate space, and I got options, and I see you, I'm going to immediately zero in on you because I know that it's going to be better with you than it could be with any of them.
Absolutely. I mean, things have changed, you know, from the 20s, the 30s, the 50s, and 60s, whereby, you know, you take a look at your own personal community growing up. Everybody knew each other. Everybody communicated. You know, it was a situation where your parents, if they didn't go to school, the neighbors called your parents to say, hey, listen, such and such played hooky today. Now we're a society where the relationship stability isn't as great. I mean, you could be living in a neighborhood for 5 or 10 years and don't even have your neighbor's phone number.
Right.
So it's not that sense of a community and closeness, and it's kind of like everybody is guarded versus locking arms saying we need to be better together. We need to get there together. We need to support each other together. We need to compensate for each other's limitations and flaws and all those things and really put things on the table together so we can make things better. Society, the economy, and all of those things. It's important.
Right.
And sometimes you don't have to reach that far. You know, you may have to just reach into your family. And, you know, I've seen examples of that done where, you know, you've got somebody in the family that has a really high credit score. You know, you say 720, somebody's got a 720 or better credit score, but they don't have any cash flow. So they can't do anything.
Right.
But, you know, they are more inclined to trust their brother, their sister, their son, their mother, or whomever. And now they can combine that 720, 850 credit score with some cash flow, and now you have power, you know, combined with your expertise and being able to step out there and show a group of people or show two individuals what it is that they can do with those resources. Because otherwise, you know, we end up, you know, there are a whole lot of people that died way too early with an 850 credit score.
Absolutely.
And it's like, man, you had 850 for like the last 30 years of your life, and you didn't own anything? I was just renting over there at the joint.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't own anything. I didn't have enough cash.
It's funny you mentioned that story because a couple of years ago, it was a great real estate investment opportunity that came across my plate, and I needed some capital rather quickly. And I reached out to my grandmother, who's in her 80s. And I said, hey, look, Grandma, you sitting on all this cash. I don't need your credit. I don't need your name, but just make an investment in me. And I'm going to make sure in 4 to 6 months, I'm going to give you some return on your money. Now, that was an easy conversation to have because, again, going back to the respect, the credibility, and all of those things. And she took a shot on me. And so, again, to your point, I mean, if we stay within the soul of our family fragments, I mean, there's some opportunities to be able to be leveraged. And if not, we got to make sure we're doing our part to bring everybody up to speed whereby folks can't have that opportunity where we can leverage each other and don't even have to go outside.
Right. One thing that we discussed before you got here, we talked a little bit about the Golden Globes, which was on Monday, and something we talked about before, the entertainment industry, and the fact that if we can figure out how to integrate or use that platform because it's so popular to do what we want to do as far as our community initiatives, then it would be huge. I think the sports industry can be categorized in the same in that it's huge. Everybody in my timeline, like I'm not that much into sports, but Facebook has a little button up there that I can post the score of whoever is playing, and it's just huge. And so my question is, do you think there's a way where we can kind of do the same thing, leverage the athletic world in order to push forward some of the community initiatives that we need to? For instance, eating healthy or, anything like that.
Yeah, I think obviously I'm working with a lot of athletes in my space, a lot of athletes I have relationships with. A lot of these guys retire, make a couple $100,000 for a couple years. People may have mismanaged their money while they were in the NFL, the NBA, or whatever the case may be, and then they retire and they don't have much.
Right.
They have challenge credit, but they still have the influence. I'm working with a gentleman now that played in the NBA. We have a youth financial literacy foundation with the company I work for, and we're in a charter school in Washington, D.C. We created the company has an 8-week curriculum program whereby we're going into the schools providing that financial education. But this gentleman, who's a former NBA player, has accompanied and come alongside that work, and he's in that school impacting these young people. So they do carry a voice.
Wow.
I think it's really, really important. Oftentimes folks look at them as if they all are 7-figure earners and don't have a care in the world.
Right.
But they're regular people too. Right. So in light of that, we got to make sure that any opportunity that we have to be able to leverage those individuals, if we know any, they're great resources because they have a testimony. They came from similar backgrounds as many of us, has gotten to different places, been to different places. So we can learn a lot from their experiences and participate in that. And that's why, I've taken it upon myself to really come alongside a lot of these professionals to be that resource to help them, understand it's just not about you.
Right.
You can stretch your arms out and impact so many people just because the name recognition carries so far. It's funny, last night I watched a football game, the college championship, and I fell asleep with like 10 minutes to go in the game, and I woke up this morning and I felt some kind of way, like it really impacted my life that I missed the game.
Right.
So think how many people are emotionally engaged in sports and activities when your football team get kicked out the playoffs or whatever the case may be. But you still got a life you got to lead.
That's right.
You still got to go out and be your own entrepreneur athlete or your own, corporate America athlete. You still got to go out and make it happen come Monday morning. So we definitely can't necessarily be fans all of our lives. We got to put our own helmets on and go out and be players in our own space.
Right. I love it. I love it.
Great. And your office is located here locally, right? You're in the DMV area? You have one office?
Yes, we have corporate offices in Michigan, but I have a branch office at 10201 Martin Luther King Highway in the Vista Garden shopping center right down the street here. We have a team office there whereby we go out and we do a lot of success training. We do a lot of financial literacy workshops. We do a lot of credit education and things of that such. So definitely feel free. Stop by the office. Feel free to drop us a line. You can send me an email at brokerderrick@gmail.com, BROKERDERRICK, and I'll make sure I get you guys our calendar, our update of events. We do a lot of things going on within the county, and so definitely I'd love to be able to participate too in some of the things you guys got going on. I know you guys do some great work here at Everlasting Life, and definitely.
Great. And you all do remote, so are all the classes taught there locally, or might you be available to come to one of our facilities? And
Absolutely. We move around the country tonight. I'm on my way to Chester, Pennsylvania. I was charged to come out there tonight to do a big credit empowerment workshop seminar out there. I'll be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida this coming weekend. So one thing I know, especially specifically about my space of credit and entrepreneur, there's no shortage of people out here that have a challenge credit, and there's no shortage of people out here that need to diversify their income. I mean, you think about the median income per household where we are in Prince George's County, $63,000, $65,000. So I mean, you figure somebody taking home $1,700 every 2 weeks. The average cost for housing is just that. So half your paycheck is going to your housing, yet alone you get paid, and you got $200-300 left to last you the next pay period. So there's a lot of people out here struggling. It's not that they don't have the talent, the skill set, or the abilities. A lot of people just don't know what to do, who to turn to, or how to go about, turning that corner. So we try to provide that opportunity and those resources for ordinary people that want to do extraordinary things.
Love it. Got to get that coach, right?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If you are available, I know your schedule is busy. Wednesday is the night that we have our workshop series, the Health, Wealth, and Knowledge of Self. So I invite you to come back out on Wednesday and do a presentation, share all that good information, and have people sign up, because we all need coaches, and we all want money and need success and all that good stuff. So make sure you guys do come out Wednesday, 7 p.m., 7 to 9. We have a presentation. Come at 6, though, and try the food. It's wonderful. It's delicious. It's soul food, vegan, and yep.
Well, any opportunity I can have to stick alongside you, because you are an energy fireball. So definitely that stuff is contagious, and I appreciate Dr. Baruch and all the work that he's doing and impacting so many people for change. One thing I appreciate, and I know about myself and all of us, none of us are exempt from the fact that we all have limitations. We all have flaws and weaknesses that at some point in our lives get exposed, but we can compensate for that through the efforts of other people. So collectively, together, we can do more. I appreciate you guys allowing me to join you guys this afternoon. I look forward to the work that lies ahead, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yep. Great, all right. Sounds good.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And Kris, has been once again a really good show. I appreciate you coming on board, even though it's a little chilly. It's chilly outside and it's chilly inside.
Oh, that's all right. We had a good hot topic today. Warm things up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. This has been the Elife Power Lunch with Dr. Baruch and Kris Murray. Until next time, take care.
So long.